Welcome, everybody, to Wellness Wednesday. My name is Daryl Moss, and together with my colleagues, Stacey Hendry and Lucy Diana, we are the Synergy 3. And we are working to spread our message of health and wellness through webinars and group programs. We each also have our own individual coaching businesses. Today's topic is how to navigate the visit to your doctor for your annual physical. At first thought, going for a physical seems to be a routine thing to do, and we do hope that it is something that you do yearly. What we are explaining here is how to make the most of your limited period of time, which is sometimes as short as 15 minutes that your doctor will devote to you. So we're going to talk about what to do actually before you even get to your doctor's office. Doctors are really busy, so it's important that we learn to advocate for ourselves and to use the time wisely. So first and foremost, we suggest that you ask your doctor for a requisition for blood work, and more of this to follow in a few minutes, at least 2 weeks before your appointment. In many cases, you can take your prescription to a lab such as Quest or LabCorp if you can't get to the doctor's office to do the blood draw. You want to ask your doctor if you should stop any medications and or supplements a few days before you get your blood work done. You most likely will need to be fasting, but again, you should please confirm that. The point is to get your blood work done in advance. So leave yourself enough time so that both you and your doctor receive the report before your appointment so that you can actually talk about the results when you get there. It's much easier to have the doctor's full attention and to be able to ask follow-up questions when you're in their office rather than through the portal, emails, or phone calls. Now, a lot of times, only the doctor receives the report, but we all have the right to see our medical records. So you can certainly request that the lab or the doctor's office send a copy to you. Second, write down all the questions that you want to discuss with your doctor. What kind of topics? Anything that has to do with your health, mental and physical. Each person's list is going to be different, and every question that you have is perfectly valid. So you might have questions about sleep, difficulty losing weight, understanding your blood report, energy levels, immune health, COVID stuff, mood swings, anything that you want to know and anything that you want to tell your doctor should be on your list. Your doctor has a lot to do in those 15 plus minutes that are allotted for your appointment. And as a patient, it's really easy to get flustered or forget some of the things that you want to talk about. And because of the conversion of the way doctors keep records to medical records, electronic records, your doctor may spend more time looking at the computer screen rather than looking at you. So we, the patients, need to be patient. So write down your questions and write down the answers and responses. You can also bring someone with you to this part of the visit because this is usually held in the doctor's office, not in the examination room, if you think it would be helpful. 2 sets of ears, especially if there's something big going on with you medically, are often better than one. So please keep in mind that it's probably not the doctor's preference to be rushing through these visits. In many cases, medical care has been tied to agreements with insurance companies, and our individual doctors may not have the luxury of spending the amount of time truly needed to examine and talk to each patient. So I'm going to show you sample reports of 2 of the basic blood panels that are generally ordered at annual physicals. I'm not here to discuss what each marker means, but rather what your doctor will most likely be testing and some other markers that you can request. So this is a CBC, which is a complete blood count. And this panel tests the cells that comprise your blood. The results can tell your doctor a lot about what's going on inside of you, as well as if you might be low in certain vitamins and minerals. And although not the subject of today's webinar, as much as we believe in getting as much of our nutrition as possible from food, sometimes we do need to supplement. If your doctor does suggest that, remember that your supplement needs to be good quality, and all supplements are not created equal. And you can check out our YouTube channel for a webinar we did on this subject. So what I'm showing you here is a sample of what somebody's blood work would look like. Some labs format their results differently, but no matter how it's printed, the results are the same. So as you can see, the marker being tested is listed on the left, and then you can see the results and the reference range. So most labs will have the whole panel on one page. Some labs actually just have one marker per page, but no matter how it's formatted, it's still going to give you the same information. Now, if anything is outside the reference range, on the low or the high side, the computer will flag that. Some labs will put those flags in bold. Sometimes there will be an arrow. Sometimes the color is different. Sometimes there's an H or an L if it's clinically high or clinically low. But every lab will have some way that you and your doctor can easily recognize that something is out of range. So what does that even mean? The reference range is just an average of what most people in a specific population experience. So that population could be a specific geographic area. It could be sex, it could be age. There are different, depending, there could be different ways that number is calculated, but it's an average. And just because something is within the reference range doesn't mean that you're in the sweet spot of the reference range. So remember what we just discussed, that your doctor only has a very short period of time to talk to you. So in my experience, unless a marker is flagged, the doctor generally just isn't going to have time to look at everything else. So it's important that you can learn to understand that these are things you might want to discuss with your doctor, because let's say the range is 30 to 80 and your number is 31. That might be different on any given day, and that might be something you'd want to discuss with him or her. The other panel that I wanted to show you is this complete metabolic panel, often referred to as a CMP. And this tests for many different substances in your blood that relate to our metabolism, some of our organs, our electrolyte balance, et cetera. So this is, again, what a typical report would look like. And remember, this can be formatted differently, just like the CBC, the previous panel. But again, anything that's out of the range will be flagged. An important concept to remember is that a blood report just represents a moment in time, and it doesn't stand in isolation from the rest of your life. So some markers can be influenced by what you ate the day before, whether you're fasting, what time of day you're getting your blood drawn, how much stress you have. Sometimes you get a flat tire on the way to the doctor's office and you're late and your blood pressure goes up. So they're all different things that can impact your blood work on any given day. But even though these are just a snapshot of a moment in time, if you look at several years of blood reports, you may start to see a pattern. So I don't think anybody could say that someone becomes a type 2 diabetic overnight, for example. Blood sugar levels will be creeping up for several years before they hit an alarm level. So the bright side of this is that we can really learn that information is important, and information can spur us to improve our health. Our clients understand that food and lifestyle modifications make a huge difference in our lives. We have helped so many people who've done our programs individually and group. We've helped them lower their blood sugar, improve their cholesterol numbers, lower their blood pressure, just as an example. They've improved their energy levels, they sleep better. I mean, their lives have been changed. And through their work with us, if they've gotten their blood tested before and after a group program or their work with us individually, they can see the difference on paper and they can feel the difference in their bodies in their everyday lives. So this is just one testimonial, but look at this. This woman did a 4-week program with us. She lost 10 pounds. Her LDL dropped 25 points. Her total cholesterol was down. I mean, this is unbelievable. She was thrilled and we were thrilled for her. I mean, that's why we are in this business. We want to help people feel better. We believe in what we do. We walk the walk and we guide through our clients, through our programs, and we are with them every step of the way. So we just wanted to share that exciting results with you. So a few things I wanted to mention. Number one, a lot of different things can impact your blood work. And one of those is what time of the day you get your blood work drawn. So I like to get my blood work drawn first thing in the morning for 2 reasons. One is that I always do it fasting and I'm hungry in the morning and I don't want to wait a long time to have my breakfast. And second, I like to compare apples to apples. So when looking at reports over time, if the hour of the blood draw is relatively constant, then I'm eliminating one of the variables that could be impacting the results. And then when it comes to our health, the more information that we have, the better. So in addition to these 2 reports, the complete blood count and the metabolic panel, there are other markers that are a good idea to request as add-ons. So full disclosure, in my personal opinion, based on my own experience, many doctors do not appreciate the patient asking for specific blood work to be performed. But you have the right to advocate for yourself. And I have learned this over time. And it definitely helps if you can explain why you want to know your vitamin D levels, for example. Your doctor might tell you that the blood work that you're requesting will not be covered by insurance, and that may or may not be true. What is true is that not all insurance policies cover everything. So our advice is to call your insurance company ahead of time and try to find out if what you want tested will be covered. So without knowing anything about your specific health, I do suggest that you get the following markers tested. So number one, a lipid panel. Lipid means fats. So this is testing your cholesterol numbers and triglycerides. And we are going to have another webinar that talks about this in much more detail. Vitamin B12 is really important. It has so much to do with our energy levels and our nerve systems and neuropathy and so many other things. So vitamin B12 is another important one. Definitely vitamin D. And again, take our YouTube channel. We have information about vitamin D on other webinars. Iron and ferritin. So iron is a mineral that's critical to our health. Ferritin is the storage form of iron. Red blood cell magnesium, and not the serum levels. So serum levels are what are normally checked unless you request to have your red blood cell levels checked. So for certain minerals, including magnesium and zinc, which are 2 of the big ones to get checked, the reason we want you to do the red blood cell levels is that the serum levels are highly influenced by what you ate the day before. So let's say you had a lot of almonds one day, and then the next day you went to get your blood work done. Almonds are high in magnesium, so your serum levels might show very high. But we want to know what's actually getting absorbed into your cells, because that's where the magic happens, in your cells. And red blood cells live for a long time. So getting your red blood cell levels checked is a much better indicator of how much you're actually absorbing of that mineral. We also think that women over 35 should get a complete thyroid panel done, not just get their TSH checked. And again, take a look at our YouTube channel for a webinar talking about that. So these are the basic markers that I always request. And to be perfectly honest, not every doctor wants to run them. If they don't get run, it's not like you're not going to have enough information. The information from the CBC, the complete blood count, and the CMP, the metabolic panel alone is still going there. That information will still be very helpful, but there is a lot more that can be tested, not only these markers that I just showed you, and your doctor can tailor that decision to your needs. And you can also go in there understanding why you want some things to be checked. And blood work is not the be all and end all when it comes to the information that explains your health, but it is an important piece of the puzzle. And we believe that having as much information available to us, the better. So we are running these webinars and posting these videos to increase awareness of what is important. We want people to understand their own bodies, and we want to help people improve their health. So to talk about your own personal health, feel free to book a discovery call with us. Our contact information is on this slide. We offer every new client a free 20-minute call. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you will be notified each time another webinar video is posted. And if you found this useful, please share this with the people in your world. Our mission is to spread the message of wellness as widely as possible.